I don't remember what day it is anymore. There are no windows in here. Just steel walls, a single cracked light above, and a low mechanical hum that never stops. The air smells like sweat, blood, and old rubber. I haven't slept in I don't know how long. I can't even blink without seeing shapes moving in the shadows. They told us it was a study to help the motherland. A harmless experiment. Just stay awake. Stay inside the chamber for 30 days. No sleep, nothing more. They locked 5 of us in here. He stopped talking after the first week. They pumped in some kind of gas, said it would keep us awake. At first it worked. We laughed, joked, played games, even sang. For 2 days, maybe 3, but then the whispers started. First in our heads, then in the corners of the room, and then in each other. We turned on one another fast. I don't know why. Just a wrong look, a stray word, and you'd feel like they were planning something behind your back. The gas didn't make us feel energized. It made us paranoid, twitchy, like bugs crawling under our skin. By the 5th day, Dimitri clawed open his own arm, said something was buried under his flesh. There was nothing there. Nothing but bone and blood. So much blood. That was the last time I looked him in the eyes. They never opened the door, never once. The Russian sleep experiment wasn't fiction to the people inside that chamber. In the late 1940s, during the height of Soviet psychological research, Russian scientists allegedly developed a powerful stimulant gas. The purpose? To test its effects on sleep deprivation. 5 political prisoners were selected for the trial, promised their freedom if they completed 30 days inside a sealed gas chamber without sleep. The setup was simple: a sealed room filled with books, running water, dried food, and enough oxygen for survival. But it wasn't a peaceful environment. Surveillance microphones and one-way mirrors watched their every move. The gas flowed constantly, never stopping, never thinning. For the first 3 days, the prisoners behaved normally. They spoke to each other, whispered to the researchers, even shared traumatic memories, perhaps as a form of group therapy. But after the 5th day, things changed. Their conversations took a dark turn, growing increasingly paranoid and violent. By the 9th day, they stopped talking altogether. They simply paced, sat, stared, and then screamed. Screamed until their vocal cords tore. The researchers noticed something else. The microphones picked up faint, hushed sounds. Not speech, murmurs, unintelligible whispering. As if they were speaking to something else inside the chamber, or to themselves, over and over. By the 12th day, silence returned. No more voices, no more pacing. Just quiet. The scientists feared the worst. So they made an announcement over the intercom. They were going to open the door and come inside. A single voice responded, "We no longer wish to be freed." Back in the chamber, I started to smell rot. Kirill had died days ago, but no one touched the body. We weren't afraid of corpses anymore. There were worse things, like Mikhail, who sat in the corner whispering to the wall, or Alexei, who hadn't blinked in 4 days. His eyes were peeled wide, literally peeled. I didn't sleep. Couldn't, even when I wanted to. The gas made sure of that. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw my mother, but not alive. She was at my funeral. Except I wasn't dead yet. That's when I knew we'd never leave. When the researchers finally opened the door on day 15, what they saw has become legend. The food hadn't been touched for 9 days. The floor was soaked in blood. One of the prisoners had torn open his abdomen. Not in a frenzy, but with surgical precision. Organs lay on the ground, but he was still alive. Still breathing. The others had mutilated themselves too. Chunks of flesh bitten from arms, skin torn away from their faces, fingernails ripped off, bones exposed, and not out of panic. They were calm, alert, smiling, The soldiers sent in to remove them were met with screams and violence. The prisoners begged to be kept inside, fought to remain within the chamber. One of them died during the extraction, tearing out a guard's throat with his teeth. Another began to scream again, not out of fear, but rage. They didn't want to be rescued. The few who survived were taken to a medical facility. Doctors tried to sedate them, but the moment they were unconscious, their vitals flatlined, as if sleep itself meant death. When revived, they thrashed violently, begging for more of the gas. One prisoner, with his vocal cords destroyed, could only mouth the words, his lips forming the same sentence. "Keep me awake." The head researcher ordered the remaining subject to be placed back into the chamber to continue the experiment. But a military officer objected, said the trial was over, that what they had witnessed wasn't science, it was possession. The researcher ignored him. He asked the prisoner, "What are you?" And the figure on the gurney smiled. "Have you forgotten so easily?" it rasped. "We are you. We are the madness that lurks inside you all, begging to be free, just waiting for sleep to loosen your hold." Then he flatlined. Some say the footage was destroyed. Others believe it's still buried deep in Soviet archives, but no one knows for sure. I can still hear them. When I close my eyes, I hear the hum, the gas, the whispers, and that voice. My own, but deeper, speaking things I never said. I don't sleep anymore because I'm afraid that if I do, I won't wake up as myself.